I want to tell you about two contractors. The first one, he's doing about $1 million a year. Word of mouth is slowing a bit down, leads are inconsistent, and he's stressed. So he does what a lot of contractors do when they hit that wall. He invests in his brand. New logo, nice website, truck wraps, branded shirts, then a video and a photo shoot. 20 grand into content that's going to go on the website and on social. All in, we're talking $25,000 into looking the part. And you know what happened? Nothing. The leads didn't come. The phone didn't ring any more than it did before. He had the best looking brand in his market and the same cash flow problems he started with. Now let's talk about the second contractor, Luan with Deck Bros in Omaha, Nebraska. When we started working with him, he had like 23 Google reviews. No big brand investment, no cinematic content, nothing fancy at all. Just for quick context, I've been doing marketing for over 20 years. My company, Contracting Empire, works only with high-ticket contractors, and last year we generated over 10,000 leads and tracked over $50 million in revenue across our select client base. So what I'm about to show you is, in theory, it's what actually moves cash. I'm going to break down exactly what Luan understood that the first guy didn't, and more importantly, I'm going to give you a formula that's going to change how you think about every marketing dollar you spend from here on out. But first, we need to talk about why this keeps happening, because it's not random and it's not an accident. Think about what happens when a marketing agency walks in to pitch you. And I want you to really picture this, because once you see it, you can never unsee it. The SEO and the ads guys, they come in, they've got ranking grids, keyword data, geographic coverage maps, technical audits. It's data, it's numbers, it's stuff you honestly have to stare for a good 10 minutes before you even understand what you're looking at. And even then, they're kind of like trusting that the numbers mean what they say that they mean. Then the brand agency comes in, walks in with this beautiful deck. Here's your new logo. Here's what your new trucks are going to be looking like. Here's the website mock-up. Here's a mood board for your social media. Here's a 30-second teaser video. You can see all of that. You can show your wife that night and say, look at what we're building. It feels real in a way that spreadsheets never will. And that's exactly why brand wins the pitch every single time. Not because it's the smarter investment, but because it's the most tangible one. SEO and lead generation look like spreadsheets and dashboards. Brand looks like something you can hold in your hands. And the agencies that sell brand know this, which is why they lean into it so hard. If all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail, and brand agencies have a visual hammer. So every problem you bring to them becomes a visual problem. Leads are down, oh, it's a brand problem. Not enough estimates, brand. Tire kickers calling, brand. But here's the part that really matters, and this is the part that nobody talks about. There is almost zero accountability when you sell brand. If I sell you a system with a website, SEO and ads, and the leads suck, you can fire me. You can come back and say, Eddie, I ran 30 estimates last month and I closed 2. This isn't working. That's a real conversation with real numbers behind it, and I have to answer to that. But if I sell you brand awareness and then come back showing you 10,000 impressions, what are you gonna say? What does 10,000 impressions even mean? It means that your ad showed up on 10,000 screen. That's it. And here's the thing that should make your stomach turn a little bit. I can show your content to 100,000 people in a country that will never buy a deck from you for about $5. Run that campaign, put together a beautiful report with big numbers, and without any context, you think that your branding campaign is absolutely crushing it. And we actually run a brand awareness campaign right now for one of our clients. It's $300 a month and it generates 20 to 30,000 impressions. $300. That's how cheap attention is when nobody is measuring whether that attention turns into anything. And that is the distinction that nobody explains clearly enough. There is advertising for attention and there is advertising for intent. Attention is someone scrolling past your ad on Tuesday afternoon while they're looking at memes. Intent is someone typing deck builder near me into Google on a Saturday morning because they've got the budget, they've got the backyard, and they are ready to move. Those are not the same person, and they should not be getting the same dollars. Revenue is your North Star, not impressions, not reach, not how many people scrolled past your brand last month. Revenue. And your budget needs to live where the buying intent is before you spend a single dollar chasing eyeballs. So with all that said, what is brand actually? Because I hear this word gets thrown a lot like it's some kind of a magic spell. Brand this, brand that, brand illusion, personal brand equity. Everybody's talking about it and nobody ever stops to actually define what the hell it means. So let me define it for you. Your brand is not your logo. It's not your truck wrap. It's not your color palette. It's not the font on your website. Your brand is the story that people tell about you when you leave the room. That's the whole definition. It's what the homeowner says to their neighbor after you've packed up your tools and driven away. It's what comes up when someone asks around at a barbecue for a contractor recommendation. That conversation, that word of mouth moment, that is your brand. And you can't buy that with a logo redesign. So at $1 million a year, what do you actually have? You have a company name and you have a logo, maybe a nice website, but the real brand, the story, the reputation, what people actually say and feel about working with you, that gets built through volume, through consistency, and through showing up the right way over and over again. You cannot manufacture it. You can pay an agency to give you prettier packaging, but you can't pay them to build trust. Trust has to be earned. Now here's a formula I want you to remember because this is going to guide every marketing decision you make from here on out. Brand equals awareness multiplied by reputation. And the math on that is unforgiving. If your reputation is a 0, it doesn't matter how much awareness you create. 0 times a million is still 0. You could put your logo in front of every homeowner in your entire metro area and it wouldn't move the needle 1 inch. Because awareness by itself doesn't build trust. Awareness just amplifies whatever is already there. Your reputation is strong, more awareness compounds that into dominance. If your reputation is weak or non-existent, more awareness just means more people know about the company they have no reason to trust. So before you spend a single dollar on brand awareness, you need to answer one question honestly. What am I amplifying? Now, the other thing I want to address here is the comparison that always comes up. People hear brand and they immediately think of the big names. Nike, Apple, Red Bull, Rolex, and so on. They say, I want to build something like that. I want to be the Nike of decks. I get why that's appealing, but here's what those brands actually do. They sell identity. When you wear Nike, the message is that you're an athlete. You're someone who performs, who competes, who pushes themselves. When you buy Apple, you're signaling that you value premium quality, that you're part of a certain creative forward-thinking tribe. Red Bull tells the world that you're active, you're adventurous, you live on the edge. Rolex says that you've arrived. It's status, it's success, it's legacy. Every single one of those brands is selling you a story about who you become when you buy their product. Now, think about what a homeowner is actually doing when they're about to spend 30 bands on a deck in their backyard. Are they buying identity? Are they trying to tell the world something about who they are through their choice of a deck builder? Not really, right? They're buying trust. They are asking one question and one question only. Can I hand this person $30,000, give them access to my backyard for 3 weeks, and trust that they'll do what they said that they'll do? That is a completely different psychological decision than choosing between Nike and Reebok. And no amount of logo design, truck wraps, or cinematic drone footage is going to answer that question for them. What answers that question is reviews, referrals, how you communicate during the estimate, and whether you actually do what you say that you're going to do. So if brand is awareness times reputation, and awareness without reputation is just burning money, then reputation is the whole game for you right now. And the beautiful thing about reputation is that it doesn't cost 25 grand to build. Let me walk you through what actually moves the needle at your level, because it's not what most agencies are going to tell you. Your crew not leaving the job site looking like a war zone at the end of every workday. That is brand. Your foreman calling the homeowner the night before to confirm the schedule, not because someone reminded him, but because that's just the standard at your company. That is brand. Showing up to the estimate on time and presentable, answering the phone like someone who actually wants the business, following through on what you said that you were going to do. All of that is brand, and none of it costs you anything other than discipline and standards. Because here's the thing about reputation that contractors don't fully get. It compounds. Every job you do well creates another potential referral. Every referral comes in pre-sold because the trust was already built before the phone even rang. And over time, you start doing 2 or 3 projects on the same street, and now the whole neighborhood is talking about you. And you didn't run a single awareness campaign to make that happen. The work itself became the marketing. Now let's talk about video for a second, because I know a lot of contractors are out there spending serious money on production. 10, 15, 20 grand on a professional shoot. And here's the irony. The homeowner watches that polished cinematic reel, the drone footage, the dramatic music, the finished deck glowing in the golden hour lighting, and it looks incredible. But the question they're asking themselves while they watch it hasn't changed at all. They're still thinking, okay, but are they actually going to show up on time? Are they going to communicate with me during the project? Are they going to leave my yard a mess? The polished video doesn't answer any of that. You know what does? You on your phone, standing on the job site, walking a homeowner through what you found when you opened up that wall. Showing the problem you solved on day 3 that nobody expected. Showing the messy middle of the project that everyone hides. That makes you a real human being, not just a logo on a truck. Nobody cheers for a hero with no backstory. You can't root for someone you have no connection to. And a raw, authentic video from the job site creates much more connection than any cinematic reel ever will. So grab your phone, walk the job site, and talk to the camera the way you talk to the homeowner. And if you really want to level it up a bit, hire a local videographer for $500 a day. Give them a shot list and hold them to it. And you'll walk away with a week's worth of content that's actually going to build trust without spending 20 grand to do it. Now, I want to talk about the single most powerful brand building tool that contractors completely overlook, and it's sitting right there in front of you. Google reviews. Think about how you buy anything. You're on Amazon, you're looking at the product, and what's the first thing that you do? You scroll down to the reviews. And here's the thing that most of us do. We don't go to the 5-star reviews first. We go to the 1-star reviews. We want to see what went wrong. You want to see the complaints. And most importantly, you want to see how the company responded. Your homeowners are doing the exact same thing right now. Before they even call you, before they book the estimate, they are sitting on your Google business profile, sorting by lowest rating, and reading your worst reviews to see how you handle that situation. And here's the mindset shift I need you to make. A 1-star review is not a disaster. It's a selling opportunity. That homeowner reading your reviews doesn't expect you to be perfect. They know things go sideways on jobs. What they're looking for is, does this company own it and handle it, or do they disappear and make excuses? Your response to that 1-star review is your brand voice in action, and that response is doing more real selling than your logo ever will. Let's imagine that the homeowner pulls up the Google search results for your services in the area and looks at the numbers. There's a company there with 300 reviews, one with 100 reviews, and one with 30 reviews. Who is going to get that call first? Pretty much every single time, that 300 review business is going to get the call. And it's not necessarily because they're better at their craft, but because we trust what other people trust. It's social proof. It's hardwired into how we make decisions, and is the single most powerful trust signal available to you at any price point. And if you think this only matters for Google search, let me tell you what's already happening right now that most of the industry hasn't caught up to yet. ChatGPT, Perplexity, Google's own AI overviews, these tools are pulling directly from Google business profile data to answer questions. When a homeowner asked an AI, who's the best remodeler in New Jersey, your review count, your rating, and your response quality are a massive part of what determined that answer. This isn't something that's coming in 5 years. It is already happening today, and contractors who are sleeping on their GBP are becoming invisible to an entire new layer of search. And there's a psychology principle behind all of this that's worth understanding. Cialdini wrote about what he called the liking principle. The idea that the more familiar something becomes, the more we tend to trust it and feel comfortable with it. That's real, and that's part of why brand awareness can work. But here's the part that agencies selling you brand campaigns conveniently leave out. That principle only works under positive conditions. If your brand keeps showing up in front of someone with lazy creative, with ads that aren't relevant to their situation, with content that feels like spam, Repeated exposure under those conditions doesn't build trust, it builds annoyance. Familiarity with something negative just creates more negativity. So contractors who are randomly boosting Facebook posts and calling it branding aren't building anything. They're actually training their market to scroll past them. All right, let's get tactical because I'm not here to tell you branding is useless. I'm here to tell you it has a time and a place, and most contractors get the timing completely wrong. If you're under 2 million a year, your brand budget should be close to zero. Every dollar should go into the machine that generates leads and closes jobs. Google Ads targeting people who are ready to buy right now. SEO so you show up organically when someone searches for what you do. Your Google business profile so you dominate your map pack in your area. That's it. That's where the money goes. There is one exception though, and it's cheap enough that I'd recommend it even at less than $1 million a year. Bid on your own brand name on Google. Here's why. If a homeowner already knows who you are and they Google your company name and you're not bidding on your own brand terms, a competitor can show up above you for your own name. Google is a free-for-all. What you do is you go into Google Search Console, find all the terms that are related to your brand that people are actually using to search for your business, and you bid on those terms in Google Ads. It's going to cost you maybe $200 a month, and the ROI is high because you're capturing people who are already looking to find you specifically. That is your first and only branding campaign until you've got real cash flow sorted. Now, once you're in that 2 to 3 million range, once you're out of the feast and famine cycle and you've got at least 10 grand a month going into marketing, that's when you can start layering in awareness. And here's exactly how I'd allocate a $3,000 brand budget if that's what you had to work with. I'd put $500 towards bidding on your own brand terms on Google. That's protecting what's already yours. Another $500 I would put towards a competitor brand term, right? Towards a competitor campaign. Because there's a very good chance that your competitors aren't even bidding on their own name, which means that you can show up when someone is searching for them. Now, don't rush anybody, don't defame, just show up with your own offer and let the homeowner decide. Then I would probably put $500 into Google Display Network and YouTube, which is going to give you visual impressions across the web and in video at a very low cost per eyeball. The remaining $1,500 I'd put into Facebook ads. But here's the key. You are running lead generation campaigns, not awareness campaigns on Facebook. The reason is that lead gen ads on Facebook are still going to generate thousands of impressions every time they show up in someone's feed. So you're basically getting brand awareness as a natural byproduct of running ads that are actually designed to drive results. You get the awareness for free on top of the leads. That's the brand budget for a company in that range, $3,000, and every single dollar is accounted for. And one more thing, because I hear this all the time and it drives me crazy. If I run offers, it's going to cheapen my brand. Go and look at Champion Windows, Rebath, Renewal by Anderson, Leaf Home, billion-dollar contracting companies, and they run offers constantly. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free, book before this date, limited time pricing and all that crap. They never stop. You think they're worried about brand dilution? They're too busy making money to worry about that. Here's the reality. Brand dilution requires brand equity. You have to build brand equity before there's anything to dilute. And a well-positioned offer doesn't cheapen you. It gets fanciers to make a decision. Getting homeowners to sit on the fence doesn't pay your bills, and getting people off the fence is how you grow. In addition, consider your pricing when thinking about brand dilution. There's no strategic advantage in being the second cheapest option. You're either the cheapest or you're not cheap at all. The middle is where good contractors grind themselves into the ground for margins that don't make any sense. Charge what your work is worth. Position your offers with confidence and stop letting some marketer on the internet convince you that the promotional campaign is going to destroy a brand you haven't even built yet. Now, let's circle back to Luan from Deck Bros in Omaha, Nebraska. 23 Google reviews when we started working with him. No big brand investment, no video production, no truck wraps, nothing fancy. We didn't run branding campaigns. We built the machine. Local SEO so he dominated the map pack in his area. SEO for authority. Google Ads targeting homeowners who are ready to buy right now. A website that was built to convert visitors into estimates, not to look pretty in our portfolio. And on every single job, systematically, every single time, they asked for a review. 4 years later, Deck Bros has over 500 Google reviews, and they are the #1 rated deck builder in Omaha. And they're ahead of a company that's been operating in the market for 40 years by over 100 reviews. There is no close second. And last year alone, they closed $15 million. That is not a branding story the way agencies sell it. That's a reputation story. That's a system story. That's a show up right every single day and let the results do the talking story. And at that level, at 10, 15 million, you know what brand looks like? You've done 2-3 decks on the same street and the neighbors start talking about you. Not because you ran a campaign, but because the work was undeniable. And now you've got 7 more projects lined up on the same block, and every one of those referrals comes in pre-sold because the trust was already built before the phone even rang. That's what brand actually looks like when it's earned. You don't build a brand, you earn one. Make it rain first, build a cash flow, build a reputation, get the reviews, and build the machine that generates leads and closes jobs. And when that machine is humming, when the cash flow is consistent and the reviews are stacking up, that is when you layer on top awareness. And it compounds in a way that no agency brand package ever could. It's time to hold yourself accountable for the results that you actually want. Go make it real, focus on generating revenue, and I'll catch you on the next one.